Hello guys, you're welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn the drafting, the cutting of a notch collar jacket. But this one is going to be a crop jacket. The measurements we are going to need are already displayed on the screen. So those are the measurements we are going to be needing. We're going to start with the back pattern. This is because we needed the measurement of the back neckline for the front so that we'll be able to draft our collar. So this vertical line that I have at the top here is for the shoulder line, while this one is going to be for the center back. The reason why I'm drawing all of this line is to make sure that I start all of my measurements vertically, horizontally from a straight line. Because most of the time, this paper is not always straight. Do you understand? Depending on how they cut it. So now let's get into business. The first thing you want to do on this line here is to take your shoulder measurement divided by 2. Whatever measurement you have, you're going to divide it into 2. So I'm working with 18 inches. So that is 9 inches. So your measurement divided by 2, you mark it this point, okay? Then from there, you take your shoulder slope 5, then you connect back to the center back here. So after this, I'm going to draft the neckline. So the neck width, I'm using 3.5 inches, and the neck depth, I'll use 1 inch. Then I'm going to connect with my curve ruler this way. So I just hope you see the way I'm placing the curve. That's how you should place your curve. So you connect from the 3.5 inches to the 1 inch. Because this is the back pattern, we only need from the shoulder line to the waistline or to the jacket length. Like I said before, this is going to be a crop jacket. So that is why I'm going to be using a short length. So the length I'm going to be using is from the shoulder to a few inches below the underbust. Okay, so the jacket length is 18 inches. But because this is the back, we have a difference of 2 inches because of the bust that. So the measurement I'm going to be using for the back will be 16 inches. So from the shoulder, I'll measure down to 16 inches. Whatever measurement you are working with, you go ahead and mark it. I'm going to measure and mark forward this way. Do you understand it? I'm going to connect it to a straight line. So that is the jacket length. So after the jacket length, I'm going to add 1 inch for the folding allowance. Okay, so you can add as much as 1 inch or half inch, depending on what you want to achieve. So after this now, the next thing is to get the chest line. And for you to get the chest line, you're going to divide your bust circumference by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Then you connect this way. So after connecting like that, the next thing you want to do on this line now, you take whatever measurement you have here, you measure it here. So I have 9 inches here. I'm going to take the 9 inches here as well. Then I'm going to extend this line a bit so that it will be enough for my bust circumference. So after which I've taken it this way, remember this is 9. So you connect from here back to this line. So now the next thing is to take the bust circumference divided by 4. So the bust I'm working with is 44 inches divided by 4. That is 11 inches. So on this line, I'm going to take 11 inches. This is the bust circumference. Then I'm going to connect with a curve ruler to give me my arm measurements. I hope you can see the line. So the next thing now is to come here and take the nipple to nipple measurements divided by 2. So the nipple to nipple I'm working with is 9 inches. That's 4.5. From the center back, I'm going to measure 4.5 this way. And on the jacket length, I'm going to measure 4.5, then connect with a straight line. So now, on this waist area, I'm going to take half inch on both sides for the dart. Okay? Then I'm going to connect back to the chest line like so. I'll come to this shoulder and divide it into 2. Whatever I have here, I'm going to divide it into 2.75. Yeah. Then I'm going to connect it back to the chest line like so. So what I'm going to do here is to cut out this dart and take it back to the shoulder. You can either leave it this way, just take your, because this is a jacket, we need a proper jacket fitting. If it's a longer jacket, you're going to construct this like the way you construct your basic bodies, okay? You're going to extend the dart exactly like the way we do for our normal basic bodies, okay? So now, the next thing now is to take the waist measurement divided by 4. The waist I'm working with is 40 inches. That is 10 inches. Then I'm going to replace this 1 inch dart. So that is 11 inches altogether. Then I'm going to connect it like so. So by the time I take out this 1 inch, I'm going to have my 40 inches back. After this now, we're going to come to this center back here and do our back tightening. So I'm taking out 0.5 inches. Then I'm going to connect back to the neck line like so with a slant line. Okay, so with this you are done with the back pattern, but you need to add your sewing allowance. You can either add your sewing allowance later or you add it immediately. Okay, so I'm going to be adding a 1.5 inches allowance to the back. Okay, this is just to be on the safe side. You can go ahead and add 1 inch sewing allowance. So and on the armhole, I'm going to add 0.5, but that will be on my fabric. And you can also go ahead and add your 0.5 immediately. Do you understand? You can add your 0.5 immediately like this. Do you get me now? Just to be on the safe side when you are transferring to the fabric to make it more easier. So now, after which you are done with this, we can now cut out our pattern. Then we'll take the neck measurements. I'm going to start from the folding allowance. So guys, this is what it's going to look like after cutting out. I have not cut out the darts yet. I'm going to show us how to cut out the darts. This is what you're going to have when you're done cutting. If it's a longer jacket, depending on how long it is, your pattern will be longer than this, and you might need to, and to do that, you might need your hip measurements and all other measurements. So I already have a video on how to draft a notch collar jacket, a peak collar jacket, a short collar jacket, a double-breasted short collar jacket. And the link to the videos are in the description box, so kindly check it out. Now, the next thing we're going to do is to cut out the dart and separate the back pattern. But before that, you need to label. This is going to be 2. This is the center back, and here is the side back. We're going to be cutting 2 pieces for each of the sides. So now, we're going to be cutting out the darts this way. So this is what it's going to look like. And my sewing allowance, I'm going to indicate sewing allowance 1.5, the folding allowance 1 inch, the folding allowance 1 inch. So go ahead and label your pattern, keep it easier for you. So after that, you're going to take the neck measurements, the back neck measurements. You take the measurement carefully. Okay, you take it carefully. So here I have 3.5 inches. I'm going to write it down. So you write down whatever measurement you take. So now let's start the front. So guys, the front is going to be a little bit different from that of the back, and the difference is the allowance we needed for the collar and for the placket and lapel. Before the shoulder line, you need allowance of about 4 inches, 4 to 5 inches. Same thing for the center front. Before the center front line, you need allowance of about 4 to 5 inches. This depends on how wide your lapel is, especially if you are making a double-breasted jacket. The allowance you will need here will be more than you just making a regular jacket with short collar or notch collar. So this is going to have a normal placket and lapel. Okay, so that is why I have this allowance here. So let me just extend this line. So this is the shoulder line, and here is the center front line. Please do not do anything off camera so that we would see the lines before anything, so that I will not be confused. So after this line now, you now start your shoulder measurement to your chest line, to your bust point, to your under bust, and the jacket length, because this is the front. Okay, although my jacket length still remains the same, it's still going to stop below the under bust line, before the waistline. So now I'm going to take my shoulder length to the chest line, to the bust point, to the under bust, and the jacket length. So guys, I'm done with that, and as you can see, I have my chest line, the bust point, the under bust, the jacket length, and the folding allowance of 1 inch. After that, I went ahead to draw the shoulder line, the shoulder slope 1 inch. I took 1 inch from this point down, so the shoulder measurement divided by 2, then 1 inch for the shoulder slope, then I connect back to the center front here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is to divide our bust circumference by 4. I'm working with 44 inches, so definitely this is going to be 11 inches, right? So I mark 11 inches here. And for the armhole, it's still going to be the same process with that of our regular bodies. So you divide whatever you have here into 2, you come in by half an inch, then you're going to connect all of these points together. Your curve straight directly. If you are good with your curve, you can just achieve the curve at once. And if not, you can do it one after the other, the way we put on it for our basic bodies. In the description box, I have a link to how to draft a basic bodice block for a beginners. So after all that now, you come to the neckline and take your neck width and neck depth. So for the neck width, we are using the same thing we use at the back. So that is 3.5. You mark it. Then the depth is also going to be 3.5 or 3 inches. Then you're going to connect the points together. For the placket, you are going to decide on how wide you want it to be. So for this one, I use 1 inch. From the neck depth here, you're going to go out by 1 inch. Then you're going to measure that 1 inch down to the jacket length and connect with a straight line. So after the placket, we'll draw the break point. The break point is that point exactly that you attach your button to. Where the folding of the lapel is going to end, that's your break point. You will decide on where the break point is going to be. So for this one, the break point is on the under bust line. So this under bust line is where the break point is going to get to. So I'm just going to extend the under bust line forward. Okay, if it's going to be your waistline, in case you're making a longer jacket, it can be on your waistline. So from this neck width now, from the neck width here, we're going to connect to this point. From the neck width, we're going to connect to this point where you have your break point. This center front, not this blue line, this red line. Just watch what I'm doing, okay? Watch the way I'm going to be placing it. Do you see the way I placed it? Do you see the way I placed it? Then you're going to connect with a straight line. So this line that you draw, you can just extend it up a little bit. You're still going to be extending it anyways for the collar part. Okay, so let's work on that first. So this line now is your break point. So your button will be somewhere around here. Okay, after drawing the break point, the next thing you want to do is to work on the collar, the notch, and the lapel. So for the lapel now, depending on how wide you want your lapel to be, your lapel from this point here, from this point where you have your placket, you decide on how wide your lapel is going to be. It is from 1 inch upward. So you decide on how wide you want it to be, 1 inch, 2 inches, 3 inches, and so on like that, depending on what you're trying to create or what you're trying to achieve. So you can use 1.5, you can use 1 inch. So for this one, I'm going to be working with 1 inch. I don't want it to be too wide. So from this 1 inch, you connect back to your break points. From here, you connect back to your break points. Because the lapel is not that wide, so 1 inch is okay. So do you see the way I connect it? This line in between, we are not using it, so don't get confused. So this latest line is what you're going to be working with. So that's it for the lapel. So now let's just focus on the collar itself. So for the collar now, like I said, we extend the line upward. So here is where we are going to draw the collar. And because we are going to be attaching the collar to the back neckline, the back neckline is not straight. It has a round shape. You see the way we connected it. So we want to maintain a slant line here. So that is why we don't need a straight line. It has to be slant a little bit so that the collar will relax. Okay. So to do this now, you can just go out by 0.25 from this initial line. Then you connect to give you a slant line. You just have to be slant a little bit. A little bit. Okay. So this latest line is what we are working on now. So let me take it closer. Okay. So here is where we need our back neckline measurements. Remember the 3.5 we measured earlier? That is what we are going to be using. So you measure that 3.5 from here. Okay, you measure upward. Do you see the way I placed it? You measure the 3.5 like this. So from that 3.5, you draw a vertical line, a slant line upward like this. Do you see it? So on this line is where you are going to decide on how wide you want your collar to be. So for the wideness of my collar, I want to use 4 inches. So that by the time I fold it, I'm going to have 2 inches. So whatever you do here is going to be on fold. Do you understand me? You hold on that. So you come back to this point here. So we have line 1, line 2, line 3. So line 1 is our lapel line, the latest line. Line 2 is our placket line. So that placket line is where you are going to be creating your notch. For you to decide on how wide the notch part is going to be, you are going to decide it here. So this latest line, you can go up by half an inch or 1 inch to determine how wide the notch is going to be. Do you understand? So I'm just going to maintain half an inch because sometimes by the time you finish sewing, the lapel might want to become wide. So from this second line, this middle line, that is our placket line, I'm going to connect back to this half an inch diagonally like this. Do you see the line? It has to be like that. It's not a straight line. Of course, it's not going to be a straight line. So from this point, we'll now connect back to this one. You can either connect like this, or you connect like this, or you connect with the curve. So here is now where you get creative. Create your collar, draw your collar the way you prefer. Okay. So for me, I'm just going to connect it with a bit slant line. It's not going to be too slant. You can create it with a straight line. You can connect with a straight line, or you just connect anyhow. You just see the way I connected it. So this part is where it's going to be laying on your bodies. So you can be creative around this part. Connect it the way you like. Okay. So this is the collar. Okay, here is the lapel that is going to be flipped back to your bodice, that is going to be resting on your bodice. Okay, so now that is the collar part. So let's come back to the bodice and let's take our waist dart, the bust dart, and the body circumference. So from this blue line, you take your nipple to nipple measurement. That is 4.5 because what I'm working with is 9 inches. So you measure from the bust point to the folding allowance. Remember, we have a folding allowance of 1 inch. You measure like that, then you connect. After that, you take your waist dart, that is ½ inch on both sides. You do that on the folding allowance, okay? Because the dart is going to get to that point. Do you understand? Then you connect back to the bust point. After that, you extend this line to the middle of the shoulder slope. So you measure whatever you have here, divide into 2 equal half, 2.75 because I have 5.5 inches. Then you connect back to the bust point. Okay, after that, you come to the folding allowance. You take your waist circumference divided by 4 from this blue line. This is the placket. It's going to overlap each other. So this is why I'm using 2 color of markers so that I'll be able to differentiate the lines. So it's going to be from here. So I'm going to take my 11 inches because the waist is 40 divided by 4 is 40 is 10. Then I replace this 1 inch that connect the 2 points. Then you take your side seam. For the back, we added 1.5. Same thing applies to the front. You take it. So for the bust dart now, which is the difference between the front and the back, remember the back length is difference by 2 inches. So you come here and measure down to 2 inches or 1.5 inches, depending on the difference you have on your own measurements. So you connect like so. So that is the bust dart. Then for the armhole, remember you have an inch folding allowance. You can do it on your pattern and you can do it on the fabric, guys. So with this, we have come to the end of the drafting. If it is a longer jacket, same process applies. It's just that it's going to be longer. You're going to have your hip line, take your hip circumference, your gown length, and so on. Like to pay. So now we're going to cut it out, and I want us to please pay attention to the way I'm going to be cutting it. The cutting is also important, especially for the jacket part. So I'm going to start from the front. Remove the collar from the bodice. The lapel is going to be together with the bodice, but the collar will be on its own. So now you cut on this line, okay? You continue like that and cut out on this collar line. Then you cut out the collar. So the point that you have your collar joined to the lapel, you need to mark that point on your pattern. Then when you are transferring to your fabric, do not forget that point. You can simply write collar there so that you remember. Okay, part here, we are going to cut on fold. So when indicate that that part has to be on fold with this sign, or you write it in fold, cut on fold. We're going to continue by cutting out the waist dart. Remember, we have the bust dart here. We're going to close it up. We are going to fold in this dart. You can secure it with a pin or a seal tape. So my seal tape is not around. I'm going to secure with a plait. So once you close it like this, you want to reconnect this line. This is your line here from the waist, so you reconnect from your bust to your half length. Same thing for the sewing allowance part. Okay. So then you cut it out. So now the lapel is where we have this line. So to fold the lapel now, you fold on this line. Okay, fold on this line. Okay, so this is your lapel. So the measurement you use here actually goes a long way depending on how wide you want it to be. So this is how it's going to look like. Okay, so by the time you finish sewing, it's going to get to this point. So if you want it to be wider, bigger, longer, you know what to do. Okay, so guys, that'll be all. So here is the center front. We are cutting 2 of this. This is the side front. We are cutting 2 of this as well. This is how the collar is going to be placed. Okay, it's going to go round to the back neckline. So in my next video, we are going to be transferring all of this pattern to fabric, to lining, and we're going to do the sewing together. So guys, if you find this video helpful, kindly click on the like button, share this video, please. It's really important. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, and do not forget to turn on the notification bell so that when I drop the sewing tutorial of this jacket, you will be the first person to know, and you will not miss the sewing tutorial. Thank you very much once again. Till we meet again in my next video. Bye bye.